If you don't know by now, I love a virtual assistant. Like nearly every single device in my gaming room is voice controlled. My TV, my light panels, even my PC turns on and off with a voice command. So you can imagine how I felt with my Google Home Mini that I got free of whatever subscription years ago started acting up. Now, don't get me wrong, I use Siri a lot, but I can't use it when I'm on the phone and I can't use it when I'm filming stuff on my phone as well. So I came to a decision. It's time to hire a new virtual assistant. And just like the job title says, assistant, which means that I need a speaker that's gonna take all the jobs that I give them seriously. Like turning on my PC, switching off my room when I'm finished with it, and keeping my kids entertained when I'm working and I can't actually give them my full attention. So just like you and I would have to do interviews, I decided I'm gonna interview 4 speakers with great resumes. In the lineup, we got the Apple HomePod Mini, the Echo 4th generation and Echo Dot 5th generation, and the Google Nest Audio. So I decided I was going to test each speaker when it comes to carrying out simple voice commands and shortcuts. I wanted to test the entertainment factor when it comes to jokes and telling stories and basically just entertaining me and the kids when we're chilling. I wanted to see the audio quality for the music when I'm cleaning up, and test the mic for when I wanted to do loudspeaker phone calls, and test the child-friendly etiquette for when the kids want to speak to it as well.
I've been playing games in the fun house. Got big names in the fun house. I be in my lane in the fun house. Fully entertained in the fun house. Fun house, fun house, fun house, fun house, fun house.
Now, can I just say, yeah, before I start talking about any of the results from my test, I just want to state that anything I say about these speakers is based on my experience using them. So if you're thinking that I did a smart speaker to your gaming room or setup, then take what I'm going to say with a pinch of salt, because you might want to get these speakers as well and test them out, because I might be using them completely different to how you would. So first of all, I tested each device and saw how they carried out simple voice commands and shortcuts. So I started off with the Google Nest Audio, which carried out simple commands like turning on the TV, turn off the lights completely fine. But that was when it actually chose to work. And it got really annoying that if I wanted to do anything with my TV, I had to specifically say Funhouse TV, because it wasn't sure if I was talking about the TV in my gaming room or the one in the living room. Which is really annoying because it asks you to put the speaker into a group of which room it's going to be in, and the only TV that's in that group in this app for me is the one in my gaming room. When it came to the shortcuts though, it was really hit and miss. Sometimes it would work perfectly, other times it would say some devices are unavailable, and other times it would do exactly what I answered to do, but it would babble on about what device isn't available, even though it just activated or deactivated the device that it was saying wasn't available. And that got really annoying really quick. The Echo Dots on the other hand had no problem following any simple command. It would switch off the TV, it would switch off the lights, it would switch them back on, like no problems at all. And when I told it to switch off the TV, because it was grouped in the same room as the TV, it knew exactly what TV it was talking about. It wouldn't mistake the gaming room TV for the living room TV. It just switched it on or off, no problem. As for the shortcuts, they worked perfectly, except for the fact that the speaker sometimes misunderstood me. The good thing about the Echo though is that it allows you to put alternative phrases to be able to activate shortcuts. So when one phrase didn't work, I just tried the second one, and it would usually work on the second one, or if I repeated the first one anyway. Lastly, I tested the Apple HomePod Mini. Now, because I'm an active Siri user, I thought I'd know exactly how this would go, but it actually surprised me, and not in a good way. So with the basic commands like switching my light panels on and off, then it worked fine, no problem. But with the devices that I'd usually use to activate it that had third-party apps, it couldn't do anything with them. So that brings me to shortcuts. Now I understand that my phone's got the third-party software on there, so I can create a shortcut in the iPhone Shortcuts app and program the third-party app shortcut into them to then make the command work. But because the HomePod Mini doesn't have those apps loaded onto it, then it couldn't do anything. And the biggest problem for me is that that's half of the devices in this room. Oh, and if you never understood all of the technical jargon I was saying right now, let me put it into simple terms. The HomePod Mini failed the shortcuts test because half of the devices in the room don't work via Apple Home. So next, I tested all the devices for the entertainment factor. So I'm going to start talking about the HomePod Mini. Now this speaker tells jokes, tells stories, plays music, but that's about it in terms of entertainment. I'd read my schedule for my calendar and take notes like a real assistant would. But Siri definitely ain't missed Doubtfire. And the most it will do to help you out with your kids is solve a maths problem for their homework, or point them in the direction of a website that can answer the question that they're so inquisitive about. Next, I tested the Google Nest Audio. Now this speaker also tells jokes, tells tells stories, plays music, but it's got a good amount of games in it as well. And as much as the games might actually be good, you can only play them when Google decides to follow a command, which was hardly ever. The Echo speakers on the other hand does everything that the Google app does, but it actually listens. It even recognizes the difference between my voice and my youngest son's voice, and it offers us different types of games to suit our individual ages. So with me done testing for the entertainment factor, then I went onto all devices to test them for the quality in audio when I'm playing music and to see what the mic sounds like for the person that I'm calling when I'm trying to put on a loudspeaker call. First, let's talk about the Echo devices. Now, one of the main differences between the Echo 4th generation and 5th generation is said to be the quality of the speakers. So the 4th generation is much bigger than the 5th generation. So that's meant to help the 4th generation speakers give a little bit more of an umph when it comes to sound in comparison to the 5th generation. But even though the 5th generation is smaller than the 4th generation, the speaker's meant to be more improved when it comes to quality. Now, spoiler alert, but the 4th generation Echo speaker was the loudest by far when it came to all of the speakers. But both the 4th and 5th don't sound the best when playing music. And it's got equalizer options that are changed, and I don't know why they're there because it didn't make a difference at all. Now, to me personally, that proves that these speakers weren't made to play music. But saying that, you're also given the option to be able to combine with Bluetooth enabled sound system speakers. So I don't think when Amazon was making these, they was planning on getting any Music of the Year speaker awards. As for the microphone on both the 4th and 5th generation for phone calls, to the caller, it sounds like I'm in the car on the car speaker while my head's sticking out the window and I'm talking to them, and it just sounds terrible. Like, I literally had to put my lips on the speaker for the person to say that I'm actually sounding like I'm close by. I don't know why, I just sounded like I was so far away, and I tested it on multiple people. Next, I tested the Apple HomePod Mini, and for something so small, this speaker's actually got a kick to it. Like, it makes the music sound really good. The only downside to that is that the volume is really low. So if I was hoovering whilst playing music, then I wouldn't be able to hear the music at all. To be fair though, from its small size, you can't expect it to be too loud. So if you wanted a louder Apple speaker, then you're probably better off going for the original one, which is much bigger, and I assume that it's gonna be much louder as well. As for mic quality when it came to calls, this speaker's mic is so close to the iPhone's mic. Like, even when I'm talking from a distance, the quality is really good. So I could easily take and make speaker phone calls without having to worry about how the other person's hearing me. Lastly, I tested the Google Nest audio sound quality. Now, let me just say, this was really close to the HomePod Mini, but it actually had the volume. And as for the phone calls, this one was really difficult to judge because once again, it was struggling to follow commands. So when I tried to make phone calls, it only did 1 or 2 for me to be able to tell you the quality of the mic. Now, the quality of the mic was really good. Once again, really close to the HomePod Mini. But there's 2 problems when making calls on this device. Now, the first problem is that this speaker calls through Google Meet, which is really weird, especially from the fact that the other 2 speakers make normal phone calls without using any type of third-party help. And the second problem was that the calls that I actually made were really delayed. Like, I would talk, the person wouldn't hear it for another 10 seconds, and they'd be talking at the same time, and it was just really annoying. I just couldn't do it. So that was me done with testing the sound quality when playing music and speaking on the phone. So lastly, I tested child-friendly etiquette. Now, this one really matters to someone like me because my kids are always in here. So I don't want a day to come when I pause the song and then my 6-year-old ends up telling the device, play the music, and NWA comes on and it's swearing all over the place. So it's really important to me that my speaker recognizes that it's a child and know exactly how to act when a child's speaking to it. Now, I'm gonna start off with the HomePod Mini, which I should have been able to add my 6-year-old's voice to it so it recognized that a child's speaking to it, but the process is just long. And in the end, I just couldn't do it. Like, Apple made it way too hard. So when he spoke to it, it just treated him like any other person, had no child safety filters in it, and it's just mad. Now, don't get me wrong, someone else might be able to figure out how to do it, and it might have really good child safety procedures on there. But as I said, it was super long for me. I spent about an hour trying, and yeah, that was enough for me. Next, I tested the Google Nest Audio, and it did understand that it was talking to a child, but consistently struggled to carry out commands again. Instead, it froze a bunch of times and said,
Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
to the point that a few seconds turned into an hour and it was like, you know what? Forget this. This is not it. Lastly, I tested the Echo Dots. Now, Alexa understood the assignments with no problem. It addressed my son with his name to let him know that it was talking to him. It also refused to carry out requests that sounded like they were too old for him, like playing non-parent approved games or music that wasn't on the child-specific music app, which is full of child-friendly songs that were likely to be on YouTube Kids. And if my son asked it to tell him a story, it would read him a child-appropriate story, and if he asked to tell him a joke, it would tell him a child-appropriate joke. So with all the tests done, if I'm honest, if I could, I would love to combine the HomePod Mini's sound quality and the Echo Dot's ability to follow commands, entertain, and its child-friendly etiquette. But since I can't, for me personally, I'm gonna go with the Echo 4th generation. The volume level's perfect, it stands out well in my gaming room, and I can hide the smaller 5th generation Echoes all around my house to do intercom calls with my family. As for the negatives, they're not so bad that I wouldn't keep this speaker, so I can deal with them. Now, as I said in the beginning, the choice that I've made suits my room and me for the way that I use my device. And the fact that the Echo Dot works well with the devices that I use in my room, and the fact that my kids are in my gaming room a lot, that really mattered with the speaker that I wanted. Where your scenario might be completely opposite and another one of those speakers might suit you a lot better. Anyway, that's all my testing done. And if you like the video, then please give the video a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe and turn on your notifications for updates on future uploads. I'll be back soon with more gaming room videos, so look out for me and I'll speak to you soon.